Okay, we're back. This is an update to the video that you've probably seen. It's the one where this guy has emailed me, said he has access to photos of UFOs and stuff, or of UAPs, and I'm gonna link that video, which you should probably watch if you haven't seen it yet, in the description below. It'll also be at the end of this video, but you should watch that first one for context. So the guy emailed me back, and he'd like for me to read some stuff to you all. He also provided me with more images, and there's just like more mysteries. I'm not exactly sure how to respond to all this stuff, but my job is to just share it with you. So here's his email to me in response to you all. First off, to the folks leaving supportive and constructive comments, you are the real MVPs of this movement. The slog for transparency isn't easy, and it's your thoughtful engagement that keeps the wheels turning. Now on to the main event. There are some things I need to address, especially regarding your channel and the UFOs subreddit, which I guess it kind of the original video kind of went viral on. Number one, the ceiling fan UFO. Peak comedy. I'll admit the ceiling fan comparison gave me a good laugh. Thanks for that. But here's the thing. Last I checked, Home Depot doesn't stock gravity-defying, high-altitude, thermally anomalous ceiling fans. Let's be real here. Yes, UAPs come in all sorts of bizarre shapes, but to chalk this one up to a ceiling fan, it's a disservice to the serious analysis required for this field. Let's not forget that half of you are ready to canonize the jellyfish UAP. The one that looks like a melted Imperial probe droid, just because someone with a name shared it. If some random person had leaked that jellyfish footage, it would have been dismissed outright, just like many of you initially wrote off the Tic Tac footage before the New York Times gave it legitimacy. Double standards much? By the way, as a quick preview, here are some of the images we're going to see. But I'm going to keep reading this. Number two, why the ceiling fan UAP looking image was included. The so-called ceiling fan UAP made it into that document for one reason. It was anomalous, period. I didn't provide explanations because I didn't have to. The purpose was to present data, not to hold anyone's hand through their own biases. For context, that image and several others were gathered using different classified ISR systems, HUD captures, thermal optics, and FLIR from platforms operated not just by the US, but also by Allied intelligence services. That's kind of okay. I didn't realize that. We're talking about a range of sources, each with their own capabilities and classifications. Some of these images date back decades, others are more recent, and yes, some originate from allied agencies. You're seeing a mix, like it or not. And before anyone trots out the AI-generated argument, no, this wasn't AI-generated. If I was trying to fabricate something using AI, I'd pick a design far more compelling than a ceiling fan. Also, I'll just say, like, in my opinion, like, you can't even get AI to create something boring. Like, it just runs wild with its imagination. Now, I mean, you could, I don't know. I'll give my opinion after I read this. Number three, let's see. The cruciform entity. Yes, it resembles historic accounts like the Nuremberg celestial phenomenon and the incident over Guildford, Surrey. This isn't coincidental. Similar configurations have been observed across various platforms and time frames. There are multiple documented shapes of the cruciform entity, and its behavior suggests something far beyond our current technological capabilities. If you did watch the previous video, that picture was pretty creepy. I did go back and I did some research over the Nuremberg incident, where there were crosses, and I'll go into that in detail in a second. Okay, number 4. Why I sent the images. This was, above all, a test, a way to gauge what the public can and cannot digest. Think of it as a litmus test for the community's readiness. Some of you passed with flying colors, critically engaging with the material. Others, not so much. Unfortunately, as I've seen with the reactions to this image, I guess to the ceiling fan, I'm left questioning whether the broader community is ready for meaningful disclosure. Many of you dismiss something genuinely anomalous as a ceiling fan, much like how people dismissed the Tic Tac footage for years. I will say if we had a video of... When we see videos of things, they do have a bit more validity. Anyways, he goes on to say, this sort of knee-jerk ridicule undermines serious discussion and analysis. One thing I will say here is that if this guy is legit and he has special access to this, and these images are real, he is like making a bit of a risk. He's risking something, and although a bit of skepticism is healthy, I think that, I don't know, take it as serious as he does, because he's putting himself out there. And then number 5, the road ahead. Here's the part that may disappoint some of you. I won't be continuing this process. My original plan was to release these leaks incrementally, ramping up to higher definition imagery and more compelling evidence. The initial PDF release, including the last puff of a cigarette imagery, were meant to start the conversation, not to end it. But seeing how quickly this community dismissed valid data as ceiling fans, I'm not convinced you're ready. Disclosure is a privilege, not an entitlement. And the reactions I've seen so far don't inspire confidence. And for those waiting on certain groups, you know who they are, to step up, good luck. Evangelics will label these entities demonic and shut the conversation down. Others, like Luis, he's talking about Luis Elizondo, who testified in front of Congress, will tell you they need to have this conversation in a skiff and leave it at that. Be seeing you guys. Now, he does say this, and then he's still attached like some new images. I gotta say, some of these images were different than things I've seen before. Some weren't. Let's just go through this email conversation. He says, I've also sent you an attachment. Make sure to check it out. Thanks. Also, someone I know mentioned that the one with engines is likely from Skunkworks, but I'm not sure. Okay, if you don't know what Skunkworks is, I'm going to show these images in a second. I didn't know what it was either. Skunkworks is an official pseudonym for Lockheed Martin's advanced development programs, formerly called Lockheed Advanced Development Projects. So, yeah. It's like advanced technology. I think a few of these are made by humans, but I'll go over that in a second. Okay. Then he asked me one more thing. Please blur out the ARV retrieval image and the Skunkworks UAP. I'd rather not have, which right here, this and this. I'd rather not have the IC breathing down my neck over this. Some things aren't meant for everyone, and I don't need that kind of stress in my life. I trust you'll respect my wishes and blur those 2 images. In my opinion, I think that that's actually technology that the government has made. I was the one who blurred the images so I could actually see them, but I think that you probably shouldn't be showing your hand to publicly, or I think that it's probably sensitive images. Let's just say that. So I just go, okay. He says, I mentioned that it's Skunkworks. There are a few that look like they have wings. We'll get into that in a second. just the one with engines that belongs to Skunk Works, but the other boomerangs are UAPs. It was also mentioned in the News Nation report. Well, he has one of the images he has is of a mothership. He calls it a mothership, which was very confusing to me. So I asked him about that. What about the mothership with the open bay door? And because that one has wings too, or it looks like it has wings. His response to that, on another note, please initiate a full shutdown and notify your community that I was unable to deliver. There's no need to escalate further, especially when the stakes are this high. It's not worth provoking additional attention, particularly under these circumstances. I advise you to blur all sensitive materials before sharing with your community. You can still provide context of the images and the recent long email I sent you, but ensure any images are properly obscured. I'm comfortable with you discussing the content, but I no longer authorize its release in any form. Sorry, and thanks for everything, Nathan. I'm starting to think that so at this point I was like, okay, what, does he want me to like just not show anything, or like it seemed like he got spooked. Like there's a sudden shift in his feelings towards this, which I can kind of relate to. I mean, I don't know what I'm involved with here, but it is a little bit stressful. I got to admit, exciting, but slightly stressful. So I'm just like, okay, do you want me to blur out the Skunk Works one and the ARV retrieval images? And the Skunk Works one is this one. This is the ARV retrieval image. And he responds with, I've had some second thoughts regarding the materials I previously shared. After seeing the ceiling fan comments, I've reconsidered the risks involved, particularly the potential consequences of premature disclosure. Those making baseless claims do not deserve access to this information, especially when it could endanger lives. I gotta say here, like, when people make comments, it's just natural for people to make stupid comments, and like you can't throw everyone out just because there's like a few bad apples. He goes on to say, I apologize for any inconvenience caused. I trust you'll understand my concerns. Please feel free to proceed with sharing the email where I address the comments, but ensure the following redactions are applied. Blur out the ARV retrieval, Skunk Works, close-up of the mothership, and the cruciform entity. The cruciform flyby can remain along with the rest of the content like the Tic Tac, the cube, and the other boomerangs, and the chandelier. The chandelier one is creepy as AF. Thank you for your understanding and discretion. I'm like, okay, I'll blur those out then. Great, thanks. By the way, the title of the images that never were, in the image he attached to his original email, there's like a title at the top of it that says that. It refers to just a fraction of the high quality images I had initially planned to share, but decided not to. I'll hold off for now, at least until another whistleblower from the legacy program steps forward. What? I don't know what the legacy program is. Then I asked him if I could, just include our full conversation. And this was the end of my contact with him. Maybe he'll have a change of heart. I'm not really sure. Anyways, let's go on to the images. That he provided, and I'll go over each one. You don't need me on the screen anymore. So, if you remember, he wanted 4 of them redacted, or just like blurred out. It's this one, the close-up of a UAP firing up its engines, which I believe is actually something made by the government. And then he wanted the frame from drone footage of a downed ARV retrieval mission. He wanted that blurred too, suddenly. And then he wanted this mothership one blurred. And finally, the cruciform entity. So this PNG is something that he attached in the email. I have reverse image searched all of these images, including the ones that are blurred, and none of them appear on the internet anywhere. Right now, I think that the creepiest one is this one anyway. Like a giant thing with spikes just like sitting in the sky. But even though he asked me to blur these out, I'm going to, while looking at the actual image, I'm going to describe it as best as I can to you. So, for the close-up of a UAP firing up its engines. So first off, there's about, I don't know, 14 or 20 different redactions of all the data that's on the screen, or that would be in the image. There's a lot, more than any of the others. This image is in color, and it's reasonably in good detail. I mean, he still provided a small image. This craft has wings, which is a bit, and then it has it looks machined. There are hard edges. It looks like it's man-made, and he mentioned that it was part of the Skunkworks program. And then it's just flying over the horizon. It's pretty close to the camera. The odd thing is that emitting from the bottom of it is a semicircular blue glow. I don't know if that's propulsion or what. I'm not sure why. It's a little confusing because this craft has wings that are shaped such that it obviously needs them for flight. And then there's a blue glow that emits from the bottom of this thing, which it seems like you'd be wanting to push the craft forward in order to generate lift. But yeah, there's just a blue glow. It's a small blue glow, but that's it. And then I'll describe this cruciform entity. I don't know why he wanted me to blur out the cruciform entity that he provided me. All this looks like is the cruciform entity flyby, except it's still. And the picture is taken head on. Whatever's looking at it is just facing it. And it's actually a very intimidating image. If I was just looking at that thing, I'd be extremely scared. There's something about it that there's just something about it that looks like it's from a horror movie or something. But yeah, imagine a full frontal, you're looking at this cruciform entity flyby. Oh, wait. Okay. And I'm going to remove myself again. Okay, this third one that he wanted me to blur out. This also has you can kind of tell how many redactions there were on these things. This is a very good image. It's something looking up at what looks kind of like this boomerang UAP, but it's in much greater detail. You can tell that due to the way the light is coming and hitting it, that there's a like there's an edge there because the light's reflecting differently on the underside of the wings. I mean, it looks like there's some machining. I would describe it as being somewhat human, in the way that it looks created. Unlike the other types of crafts we've seen. Okay, and then the fourth one, the HD close up of a mothership with some sort of open bay door. Okay, so this looks like something from Star Wars. It has wings, again, and it looks like, and on the underside of it, there appears to be like little rivets or just machining. The wings are thick, and then there's like a triangle that's in the center of the wings that sticks upward. There looks like there's some sort of a like door in the back that's open, but like there's just darkness inside. In my opinion, once again, it kind of looks man-made, but not like anything I've seen before. It's a black and white photo as well. Okay, let me see. Whatever. I'll put myself up here. And, okay, boomerang UAP. I'll zoom in on these. This is the best resolution I can get. This isn't really anything new. And then Tic Tac. Nothing really new. Close encounter with a 1967 UK flying cross UAP witnessed by Angus Brooks. This was confusing. I looked up this incident, and if you look it up on Wikipedia, then Wikipedia says that it was just some guys like making stuff and trying to raise money for charity. And then it has these pictures. So I don't know. Maybe that it was a cover up or something. I have no idea. I can tell you that I cannot find this image anywhere else on the internet. You're welcome to search for yourself. Yeah. Next one is just triangle UAP. Looks more like a square in the air though, with a weird angle on it. And then we'll go over here. Another boomerang. A cube. Okay, the cruciform entity flyby. I'm going to go into this in a sec. And the one that I think is the creepiest, which is what Mr. Anonymous calls the chandelier-looking UAP. If I saw this in the sky, I would be terrified. Like what? There's just something that looks, yeah. I've never seen anything like this before. Now, I want to go back to the cruciform one, and I want to go back to how we were originally relating it to the Nuremberg incident. If you guys are familiar with that, this happened in 1561, and it's a woodcut. And in the woodcut, this dude, this is what he says, but basically all this stuff happened in the sky. And the reason I'm showing this to you is because the image that we have here is a cruciform. It's like just a cross. And And so I wanted to see if there's any sort of like connections we could make here. If you read over it, it looks like the ball. I guess the balls and the crosses are like fighting each other. And then if you look at this text right here, this is what it says. Everything comes out of the sun for some reason. This guy describes these crosses, which we see as being blood red. Now, I believe these are like Fleur images, or I mean, they're black and white. It'd be very interesting if they were actually like blood red. Between which there were blood red strips, becoming thicker to the rear and in the front malleable like rods of reed grass, which are intermingled. Man, this is like reading something out of the Bible or something like that. Yeah, but I think there might be some connection here. I also wanted to show you how none of these images like appeared in Google reverse image search. I mean, some of them are kind of, a few, like something like this, like a cube. I mean, these are pretty, it's like a common type of photo. Don't see this one anywhere. The chandelier one. I wouldn't even call it a chandelier. I would just call it like a bunch of spikes. So, finally, I guess, I don't know if this guy is going to respond more or what, but if you all wanted to ask him questions in the comments, and then I can ask those questions to him. I know he'll be reading the comments too. And then maybe he can give us some more information. I'm not sure. Or maybe he feels like there's too much heat already. And it's kind of dangerous. I'm not really sure. I don't want to stress the guy out or anything. As far as a motive goes, like, I don't really sense any sort of like malicious or greedy or anything like motive. Like, if there's someone making money from this right now, it would be me from the ad revenue that I get from posting these videos. He's not making anything. And I'm not even making that much. I don't see any reason for him to do this, unless he like wants to elaborately troll everyone. But he seems to be the real deal to me. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll try and ask him, and we'll see where things go from there.